How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today I wanted to talk about a particular clip that's doing the rounds on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure you all would have seen it. This is actually from a good friend of mine, and there is a lot of back history context to this, but a lot of people are taking this out of, scope, and even if it is within scope, it's pretty awful how people are actually going about, especially, it's pretty much just the PlayStation fans in general that is doing this. So, that's at least from my investigation. I've not seen a single Xbox person turn around and actually make fun of him or call him names. But let's just play the clip so you understand what's going on.
This is my longtime friend and fellow Final Fantasy XIV fan,
Phil Spencer!
Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer, baby, let's go! Yes! Yes! Yes!
Yeah! 改めまして、マイクロソフトゲーミング CEO のフィル・スペンサーさんです。ぜひ大きな拍手をお願いします。
I am pleased to welcome the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, Mr. Phil Spencer. A round of applause for him.
Now, there's a lot to unpack there, right? There is a lot. He's clearly emotional. There's clearly a lot of baggage there, and there's a lot of context for this. Now, when Final Fantasy XIV first got announced, the original 1.0, which was a complete failure, by the way, even though at 1.23, I will still advocate this till the day I die. It was in a perfect place, in my opinion. And still to this day, I still prefer 1.23's path to where we are now. Now it's just become a very kind of templatey thing, whereas back then it was a massive open world. But then again, it also reminded me a lot of Final Fantasy XI. But I digress. After all, Final Fantasy XI was my favorite MMO. And my first. Your first is always favorite, right? Your first in anything is generally your favorite. But the point that was being made here was once it got announced for PlayStation, there was a lot of problems with the Xbox port. Namely being that Microsoft actually made it so any free-to-play game that was on Xbox was paywalled. You needed to have Xbox Live at the time to play it. Now, Final Fantasy XI, when it was on the 360, actually didn't require Xbox Live. It was actually available to play on Xbox Silver. It's one of the requirements that Square Enix places when they put their MMOs, onto the console platforms because it doesn't use their servers. PSN could be down, Xbox Live could be down, and the games would still work because as long as you can log into your account, it accesses a different gateway to go and play those games. So even when PSN was down back then, people were still able to jump into Final Fantasy XIV and play the game because it doesn't use PlayStation Network, just like it doesn't use Xbox Live Network. But Microsoft locked it behind a paywall. So for the longest time, me and Brian were actually really excited for this game to come to Xbox. Now, I primarily play the game on PC. I've also got it for the PlayStation, so I can interchange when I want to, depending on when I feel like sitting at my desk or when I want to play on my console. And when it comes out on the Xbox, I'm also going to buy it on the Xbox as well. That way I can play anywhere in the house I want, not just located in one room. But the thing was, after Microsoft evolved and took the paywall away from free-to-play games, we got struck by the plague. As we know, the Xbox version was supposed to land around 5.0. That was the predicted date. But then things happened, and they couldn't even get 6.0 released on time with everyone working from home. They just didn't have the resources. Even with 5.0, they said they struggled to get that out on time, working on just the two SKUs that they had, which was, PC and PlayStation. Going to the Series consoles, they would need to develop for another two SKUs. Regardless of how you see the Series S, it is still a separate SKU that they need to put time into. They just didn't have the time, especially with Endwalker. They had no time. They actually delayed Endwalker because they couldn't finish it in time with all the changes that had to be done around the world to get games companies all set up and working. So this got pushed back quite a bit. Now me and Brian sat down for FanFest 3, expansion 3, 4, and I don't think we were streaming together on the 5th one. I want to say we were, but I can't remember, and I can't go back onto my Twitch VODs to check because, as you know, we have to delete them all, or they just get deleted anyway. But every 2 years, we sat there live streaming it, sitting down, and we were hoping that this would be announced. Because there's a lot of my friends who aren't really PC gamers, they don't have PCs, they don't have a PlayStation 5, but they do have an Xbox. So not everyone can afford to go and buy an Xbox and a PlayStation. You know, their whole friends are on the Xbox platform, so they keep to Xbox, but they wanted to play. And so we've been kind of advocating, sitting there, hoping that this day would come. Well, with the announcement of 7.0, it's finally happening. And I mean, I wasn't with Brian at the time streaming. I was doing my own thing. So this is one of the first or second fan fests where we wasn't actually doing this together. But I think we both kind of had that deep thought inside where it just wasn't going to happen, even though we kind of wanted it to. So I think that reaction that he gave, I mean, the moment Yoshi P said, Phil Spencer, I jumped for joy. Not to that extent, but I jumped off for joy. My wife was behind me. She startled because I knew as soon as he came out, as soon as his name was called, the game was finally coming to Xbox. I even messaged my friend and I said, it's finally happening. You can join me in Eorzea. I'm on Light Data Center, Odin server. That is where I'm at. Make sure you create your character there when it comes out in October. And, you know, because I knew as soon as he came out, there's literally no other reason why he would have came out, right? That is the only reason. And so his reaction that you saw there was a culmination of about, 6 to 8 years of him advocating and trying to get this game to come to Xbox. Now, obviously, one person isn't going to do anything, but he's been constantly for 6 to 8 years now tweeting to Phil Spencer, tweeting to Square Enix, and trying to just keep that awareness drive going that there are people on the Xbox platform that want this. So when it finally got announced, you could see that even he was surprised. And that burst of emotion is amazing to see. I can only wish that we all get to experience that level of excitement and joy from an announcement, you know, at least once in our lives, right? But all I'm seeing out there right now is a bunch of people saying that he's a shield to Xbox. I mean, I don't even know if he has an Xbox. He's got a really powerful PC, and I know he games on PC, so I don't even think he even has an Xbox. But the fact is, his community that has been following him for years, and don't forget, Final Fantasy XIV, despite the fact that he doesn't religiously cover it anymore, was a game that he covered for the best part of 10 years. Right? It was his main game. He covered other MMOs and did other stuff, but as far as the community were concerned, that was his main game for 10 years. And now for people to turn around and start ridiculing him, insulting him, and I'm checking their profiles. People I've never even seen before are appearing on my timeline, mocking him, taking the piss out of him, saying that they've never seen someone shield this much for Phil Spencer. It's got nothing to do with Phil Spencer. This just shows how pathetically stupid some of these people are. And honestly, I've not seen a single Nintendo fan, PC gamer, or Xbox gamer ridiculing him. There is only one fan base that is insulting him, ridiculing him, mocking him. And his response to all of those is, I pray for your soul, have a blessed day. Seek help, because being this twisted really isn't good for your soul or your health. He's not being nasty to them. He's still responding to them in a nice way. Much better than I would be. But there's only one fan base out there that is as toxic as anything I've seen for a little while. And that is the PlayStation fan base. Now, this does not apply to everyone. I want to make this clear. There are a lot of PlayStation fans out there who are jumping for joy at this announcement, who are really happy that Xbox gamers are going to be able to jump on. When this announcement was made, on the actual YouTube feed, loads of people were saying, welcome Xbox fans, welcome Xbox to Eorzea, and then you started to see it. Everyone was saying, oh, toxicity's here. You're not going to see nothing but toxic behavior now that the Xbots are here. And the only people that were being toxic in there were the PlayStation fans. If I see anyone that's an Xbox player, I'm not going to go into matchmaking with them. If I see anyone that's an Xbox player, I'm not going to join Party Finder with them. I'm not going to do dungeons with them. Like, how pathetic do you need to be? How toxic do you need to be that you're going to actually stop while you're gaming, examine someone to see their ID, or when you're in a Party Finder, you're going to go through that list and examine every single one to make sure that none of them are an Xbox player and then stay in there? Like, are these people this pathetic? Now, I didn't really want to make this video, but Brian's a really good friend of mine. And I've been following this roller coaster of game coming, not coming, coming, not coming. I mean, in 2014, or was it 2015, Phil Spencer promised that Final Fantasy XIV would be coming to Xbox. It's taken years, 9 years almost. But there was a lot of logistics there, and then a lot of problems that came afterwards. But he's kept his promise. And now a whole generation of gamers on the Xbox side can experience the wonders. In fact, they can experience the whole 10-year saga now. From 2.0 of Realm Reborn, because 1.0 was the failed release, so it started from 2.0 to 6.0 in its entirety. You can experience all of that 10 years worth of content in one go, and then after that, 6.1 actually starts a new 10-year saga. And 7.0 continues and onwards. So you've got plenty of time to get caught up between now and summer 2024. The beta starts in October, open beta. I'm not sure if it's going to be free. It should be free, but we'll see. But the game right now is available as a free trial, and it will be in October. It's going to be accessible all the way up until Stormblood, but fully accessible, no restriction on playtime hours. But why do fans have to be like this? I get, the whole console wars thing, but this is only a good thing for the game. This can only be good. More players equals more revenue equals more content. But all this nonsense about, oh, it's going to be bad. The only fan base that has been absolutely anal toxic to this is the PlayStation fan base. I will say this. There are some Xbox fans out there who basically say, I'm not interested in an MMO, or I'm not interested in a 10-year MMO. And that is fine. That's not being toxic. That's just outlining that you're not interested in an MMO game. And this is an MMO game, even though it plays primarily like a single-player storyline. And from what I've now gathered, as of 6.5, you will be able to play Realm Reborn all the way up to Endwalker single player. You can actually level up trust members to go into dungeons and primal fights with you. You probably won't be able to do the raids, but that's a different matter, right? At least the story mode content should be accessible now, most of it with the trust members. But this is an MMO. And that's literally the only negative I've seen. I don't feel forced. People are saying, you better buy this game now and support this game if you want future Final Fantasy games to be on there. No. That is not the case, because not everyone is into MMOs. This is a fantastic MMO, but not everyone is into MMOs. But to turn around and be so toxic and literally turn around and start saying that you hope this game fails on Xbox. The only reason Square Enix is releasing this game is because they're running out of money. Well, that just goes to show that there's not enough PlayStation players, right? If they're running out of money, I mean, the PlayStation... You can see how this can quickly turn. But honestly, this is a good thing. This is a good thing for gaming. More people being able to access great games. And now, those same people are calling out for Sony to buy Square Enix, which I've got no problem with, because acquisitions are acquisitions. But they're saying to completely remove Xbox from Final Fantasy XIV's database. Really? So these same people would be okay with Microsoft going in and saying, right, all Bethesda games, ESO Online, Fallout 76, Dooms, just remove every single game. And, you know, Activision Blizzard games, Call of Duty's, everything. Just wipe the slate clean. Tell PlayStation to piss off. These same people would be okay with that? Of course they wouldn't. Of course they wouldn't. They're still crying right now that Starfield isn't on there. I mean, they were crying Redfall wasn't on there until it actually came out, and well, we also had that turned out. But games for everyone is good. I don't care if Sony buys Square Enix, but I'm right now, this second, happy that all gamers are going to be able to experience Final Fantasy XIV. And the toxic people out there, the toxic fan base, which I will say is the PlayStation fan base right now, not all of them, just a portion of them, that really hate this idea that another console brand is going to access the game, which is only a good thing because it increases revenue, which means that the, you know, developers can do more with a bigger budget. They're saying this is a bad thing. I don't know. You let me know in the comment section below. Like I said, I didn't really want to make this video, but I felt compelled that I had to make this video because, I mean, just check this reaction.
This is my longtime friend and fellow Final Fantasy XIV fan.
フィル・スペンサー
Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer! Phil Spencer, baby, let's go! Yes! Yes! Yes!
Yeah! 改めまして、マイクロソフトゲーミング CEO のフィル・スペンサーさんです。ぜひ大きな拍手をお願いしま
I am
す。
pleased to welcome the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, Mr. Phil Spencer. A round of applause for him.
How many of you have experienced that joy at a game announcement? This has nothing to do with Phil Spencer. Nothing at all. That reaction there, with the name Phil Spencer being called out, was purely because Final Fantasy XIV finally, after 8-9 years of Phil Spencer promising to bring it to Xbox, has finally landed on Xbox. And I think it was more the fact that he had given up, because I did personally, that the game would ever come to Xbox, and then it being a kind of almost shadow drop announcement than anything else, that's made his emotions go wild like that. And honestly, I commend him. Because that, my friends, is a gamer. Being able to, you know, and some of you might say, you know, he went a bit too far, but emotions are emotions, right? One can't control their emotions at times. And clearly here, that burst of emotion just got the better of him. But it wasn't because he was shilling for Phil Spencer's private parts. He's just happy that Xbox gamers, even though he's not an Xbox gamer himself, will be able to experience the game that he loves and cherishes and has spent 10 years of his life covering as a content creator and playing as a player. I'll leave that with you. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion, and I'll see you in the next one. Remain legend.